setting agenda rightly, I couldn't do so because there are emerging developments in the region that threatens our stability as a people. And it is for that reason that I feel that I should allow this engagement to take place, whilst at the same time putting the information that is available to us. You would have noticed that I'm not going to attend a funeral. I'm in red. But my eyes are very, very red against the performance of Nana Addo. Why? As I speak today, there is a declaration of war against the people of Volta region. We saw it from their families, Gabi Dako saying it on his behalf that we are not Ghanaians. In the Jubilee House itself, when Nana Addo is sitting as our president, those are the comments he passed. And to actualize it, last Friday, they have marshaled the military contingent, the police, immigration, their so-called vigilante groups, the customs, from Aflau to Tinjasi, even though Tinjasi is now under Oti region. That's a deployment that have been made. All full of military and police. They have succeeded in removing all the Voltarians, the airways, from all the detachment and positioning purely on account people. Why? What have we done? As I speak now, most of our prominent citizens who are in various positions of government have all been removed. Dr. Kwakwuna, who is a very experienced medical practitioner, he has no position now in the Ministry of in the Ghana Health Service. He has been replaced by an ineffective and competent doctor to take over from him, even though he groomed that person to position. Why? We saw this thing coming under the guise of the so-called Jim Mensah propaganda of registering people or under so-called new register. But it was intended to suppress the voter region registration. That's why they went on to do the national ID card full of misrepresentation on issues. But what is very worrying is that the Director of Public Affairs, who is a son of the region called Pamdasti, from Shia, is supporting them in this dirty agenda. Why? I'm calling on all Voltarians in Ghana. I am a socialist trained. We don't believe in ethnicity or tribalism because Fidel Castro was able to introduce a system of government that does not prevent anybody to perform. But I'm sorry to make this in because we are under threat. I don't like ethnicity, I don't like tribalism because of my background. But events are showing clearly we are in war. And I want the media to begin to speak out because they have succeeded using the money that was borrowed for development of this country to be given back to almost everybody. But it's not every money you take. I want to send a clear signal to Nana. If any Voltarian had to lose his life as a result of this deployment, we will fight them to the wall. And I'm calling on all our people, traditional rulers, all our kings and queen mothers to know that the Volta region is at war with MPP, with Nana Addo. What is very worrying is the fact that they are using some of our own sons and daughters who have become members of their party. But the question is that their families are also not going to be spared. You know, I don't want to talk about this thing, but it has become very clear. We have put up a university fresh from the ground to finishing. I was lucky. I was one of the people who performed duties by acquiring land. I was a deputy minister, and I knew what has gone there. But what are we saying? We have put a Bomoso citizen as our vice chancellor. I know he's doing so many dirty things. They are removing Voltarians, but all our people are quiet. Toby Apoda and all of them. Why? Professor Mauto Avoka was removed from Winneba University College of Education because he's not a son of the Fanti soil. And Volta region, we have allowed Professor Japan to be advanced because we are very civilized people. If the Achems do not know that Volta regime believe in civility, then Professor Japon must also be careful that he's sitting on our land as a vice chancellor, an university that we built without making too much noise. Yes, my colleagues mentioned what we call the airport. One of the things that we have done, and today we have regretted, is that we don't speak about our achievements. We have the #1 airport with the runway, the best in Ghana. Go and check your records. But today they can't commission because it is not from Acham area. It was built by Dramani Mahama from Bole. So why should Bole person build something for Achema to commission? They don't regard it. But if I am sick, well, I hope I will not be sick. If the regional minister is sick now, I had to be lifted to to Kolebu. That state of art, the runway alone, he will be conveyed to Accra. We can be getting a light flight from Ho to Tamale and link to Wa, because we are talking of development. But these are people who are very narrow-minded. They are only greedy and selfish and looking for our money to consume at the expense of developing in our country. You know, recently President Mahama said something that, he was going to be paying salaries or allowances to assembly members, and that generated into hula baloo. He wasn't saying that you're going to pay assembly members. We are developing a new strategy. Now look at the way they are running the Ghana birth and death registry. I was trained in Cuba, and in Cuba there is what we call a neighborhood register. If somebody is born today, his name will appear in that register, and that register you can check since the 1959 revolution in Cuba. Everybody's name, both dead and alive, are all in that register. John Mahama is introducing that assembly members in each electoral area will now be given a tablet where they'll be putting their names of those who are born and those who are dead into it, and that will have a center to be hooked to, so that we'll no longer be using this so-called birth and death registry, which is full of malfeasance or malpractice. The other time I wanted to take a register, death register for my wife. Sadly, I was very disappointed. They have asked me to pay some 250 cedis or so, and that if you pay money to a public servant, he should correspondingly give you a receipt. But they couldn't give me a receipt. They said the time I'm coming to take the register or the certificate before they will give me a receipt. Can you imagine that? And we call ourselves a country, and these are happening to us. So John Mahama is saying that he will stop that so-called birth and death registry and introduce a new policy that will take care of our assembly members. So anybody who is an assembly member, if you are an MPP, change your mind. You have work to do, so that the 40 ministers that are redundant and incompetent in the country, that money of 40 ministers, he will use it to pay in those allowances that will enable them to have a proper, what we call proper register that will take care of our birth and death. What we have now is just a hypocritic document that does not speak of how somebody is born and dead. Colleagues in the media, we have decided to engage you today. If you go to Aflau now, it's a declaration of war. Every house, in front of every house, there is a military barrier. Why? There is a military barrier in every house in Katu South now. Go to Huraba, you can't go out. Now we are under the cover of COVID-19, where we do not have to get people from other areas infiltrating into our neighbors, communities. So you will not be surprised when the data on the viruses becomes very high. Because immigration officers, all of them are brought from Accra. The military, all of them from Accra. Customs, everybody is brought from Accra. They have taken off all the Voltarians. And we are sitting down as young men and women whose future depends on the stability of this country, to be seen not the way it is. From here, I'm going to Aflau. I want to assess the situation myself. I don't care if I die. If I die, I will die as a martyr. God, that is what our forefathers or forebears have left for us. That in a peaceful country like Ghana, where democracy was entrenched by Jerry John Rawlings, that we met last Tuesday, to allow this country to be run by these idiots. I say it again, idiots. I cannot believe it. I thought we are pursuing a democracy that will allow freedom of speech, freedom of movement. But today, the story has changed. We are now in a dictatorial government because, having failed to perform their duties as enshrined in the democratic process, taking so many loans, they think the only way to do it is to gag and suppress our involvement in the democratic process. That is electing of people freely. And I'm so disappointed. I'm highly a very worried person today. So I'm in this attire. Because they have declared a war on our people, I cannot sit down unconcerned. I have to demonstrate my resolve to be with them in times of war. So whatever happens, that is my destiny. So my brothers and sisters, join us in this battle. I'm also sending you this opportunity to send the message to our chiefs and people, particularly our chiefs, that the more they remain quiet, the more catastrophic this country will treat us. Nana Lo, who is the president of the Regional House of Chiefs, I don't know whether he has decided to remain in the Volta region or in the OTA enclave. He must be hearing me clear that we are very disappointed in some of them by the fact that they were quiet. We cannot be quiet in the midst of this controversy or this deliberate attempt to suppress us as free citizens. So, on this note, I want to thank you sincerely for the opportunity to join us this morning and to listen to our presentation. Do your best to get the silent majority to know that we are not going to abandon them in this struggle. We are in this struggle together, and we hope that the people of this country will speak out at the right time. And on this note, I want to thank you for your presence. Thank you very much.
To be the NDC shall lead, able Democrat, Ghana, our strength in unity, from billion to be the NDC shall lead, able Democrat, Ghana, our strength in unity. Victory! Victory! It's our land. Victory! It's our land. JJ is a winner.
Should be moving up and down because he's going to do a new registration, and that the military, the police, customs, immigration, the MPP vigilantes are in to make sure that no Voltarian moves freely in the country. That is what the intelligence that we have had revealed to us. So that's the clear motive behind his deployment. So no Voltarian. The only thing that we are very worried about is that we also share, Ghana shares a number of regions with some of our foreign neighbors, the western side, the northern side, but only Volta region that this deployment is taking place. So it has caused worry that he wants to declare that we are not Ghanaians. And that is what his own cousin was quoted as saying, even though he holds a British passport. Yes.
I was in the south yesterday.
Yeah.
The immigration
yeah.
commander. I didn't meet the military commander. the immigration command said that it's not the first time they have the military on the borders. That when Togo was undertaking their elections, for example, the military had come to support them because they don't have enough men. And as we have COVID-19, they are battling with foreigners intruding into the country. And as we spoke yesterday, he said they had about 22 Nigerians in their custody. And that's why the military men have come to help them guard the borders. Do you have any contrary information?
Thank you very much, my brother. I have been a district chief executive in Katu before. And in my view, when a democratic country in a foreign area country is organizing its elections, you don't need to position the military. Check your records anywhere in the world. What you do is that maybe in terms of some incursions into this things, unless you suspect that there is something going to happen, the only people who will be involved is the free movement of people using the police as a contact person. You don't put in the military. If you are putting in the military, you are telling your neighbors that they are going to do something. Meanwhile, they are doing their own democratic elections, and you don't need the military to be around. That soldier is not on top of his job. Because I have gone through life. I've been a deputy minister, I've been a regional, I've acted as a regional minister, I've been a district chief executive. There had never been anything like that. He's telling lies. I'll go and meet him when I go to Aflawo myself, for him to explain the same point to me.
Okay.
If the military in Togo are not enough, are we to supply our military to them? Where in this world that has happened, we will pay our soldiers and civilian or custom people at the expense of another country. Why? Does it make sense at all? And for a trained soldier who is an elite person in the military can be saying this thing, then you should rather go and work for Togo government. He's not up to the truth. My brothers and sisters, that's what I can say for now.
Thank you very much. I think that
Donald Trump will say, I appreciate. No other question again. Thank you very much for the opportunity. We'll hear you next time.